Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the Construction Cogs Podcast. This is only the second one that's on YouTube. The other two have been on Spotify. This one will be on Spotify as well. If you like to just listen to stuff, which is useful sometimes. But now you can watch my beautiful face and my guest, my special guest. This is a really special one for me. It's a nice one. This one's to the heart because my little brother, Richard Webb, he went out to Australia 9 years ago. He stayed out there as a piling rig operator and crane operator, like crawler crane and mobile crane operating. So, no, not so much mobile cranes, or crawler crane, sorry. So he's been out there for 9 years, living out there. These interviews are interviewing people in the construction industry for people who are curious, who want to get into these industries, or just interested. So if you're interested in Australian life, keep watching. If you fancy a bit of piling or want to know how to get into the industry, keep watching. Yeah, but it's not just for those people. This will be interesting watching anyway. It'll be a good watch. Trust me, it'll be a good crack. So without further ado, actually, before I get him in, I'll ask you a favour. Subscribe, please. Do it right now. Yeah, that'll do me a favour. That helped me out because a lot of work goes into all my videos. I work really hard to put the content out there for you. But without further ado, let's get him in. Here he is. All right, bro.
Hey, all right. Hello, mate.
How we doing? All good?
Good, mate. Good, mate. Good.
Sweet. So, it's early morning there, isn't it? What's the time there?
It is 20 minutes past 8 in the morning.
Oh, it's not too bad. Ain't too bad then.
Sunday morning.
It's winter there now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually freezing, to be honest. So I've got my hoodie on.
You can't afford heating, no?
Yeah, it can. It takes. We've got quite a big apartment, so it takes a while to heat up.
Right. You say freezing. It's probably what, 15 there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably something like that.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right for me. I reckon that's probably about 15 now, and I'm quite warm in my t-shirt. You softened up, haven't you?
That's it, mate. Climatized, mate. Climatized.
You know it. Yeah.
The sun's just coming out now, so.
Yeah, I see it on your eyes there. You're struggling to look at it.
Yeah.
So So, tell you what. Tell us about yourself then. Let's kick off with that. Tell us about yourself, what you do, and how you do it.
So my job role, I'm a piling rig operator and mobile crane operator, but I also pretty much class myself as an all-rounder within the piling sector. So mainly an operator, excavators and all that sort of thing as well. But I also done supervisor roles and leading hand roles, due to just having the experience. That's basically what I do. It's a bit of a mixture between them all, It could be a job where I'm just in the rig for 6 months and I don't do anything else, or I could be supervising for 4 or 5 months. Or I could be in the crane for 3 months. So between doing what I do, it could be a whole lot of everything, on the same job, or it could just be one thing, So I might not step foot in a rig for, 7 or 8 months, or I might not step foot in a crane for 7 or 8 months. So
yeah, that's
it's a bit of a mixture,
varied, Yeah, it's varied.
It is.
So you probably don't get bored easily.
No, it keeps it interesting. It keeps it interesting. So
yeah. What do you prefer then out of all of it? What would you rather be doing?
That's a good question, actually. I think I'm used to the rigs that, even depending what discipline it is, there's different types of piling, but I think I'm more comfortable in the rigs probably because I've had more time in them. It's sort of second nature, I find that when I get into a crane, especially if it's a bigger crane, it takes a minute. It takes
Yeah,
me a
yeah,
minute
yeah,
to especially if it's a different type of machine. The controls of some of the cranes we use, they're all different. So it takes me a minute to just get back into the swing of it, and
yeah.
get the
I think
feel
that,
of it. But you know,
yeah, I think that's the same with any crane, though, isn't it? You have to familiarise yourself a little bit with any new crane, isn't it?
yeah,
I'm the same
yeah,
now on the towers. Like you get in a different one and they drive different. You've got different sort of speeds and the controls on the screens are different. So yeah, you just got to get your
yeah,
head around it a little bit.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I like to be chucked in the deep end a bit. If you're busy, I like to be busy straight away, so you get the feel of it quicker. You know,
Yeah,
I seem to I thrive under pressure. To be honest, I like to have a bit of pressure on me. It seems to make me perform better, I think.
yeah,
So
yeah. I'm the same.
yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah,
how did it all start anyway? Let's go back. Let's go right back. How did it all
yeah,
start?
yeah. How did it all
Where?
start?
Yeah, where did you start?
Well, I'm pretty sure when I left school, I didn't go to college or anything. I left high school, um, and I come to work with you, you and our cousin Robbie and that, and done the old landscaping and all that sort of thing, and renovations and what have you. I mean, I can't remember how long I was doing that for. Not too long. Um,
Yeah, the
and
groundworks.
then
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure got made redundant. I don't think there was much work left. So someone we worked with, Phil, our mate Phil, he put my name forward um, to one of his friends who owned a small piling company, and
yeah.
I never even heard of piling. I didn't know what it was. I was only young. I'm probably still 16. I was waiting to turn 17, and anyway, yeah, I got this job anyway as a labourer, and ended up staying there for 10 years, and obviously worked my way up through the company, small company, but
Yeah, give him a shout. Give our Mendel a little plug.
yeah, Lee
Give him,
Mendel, yeah, he done a lot for me, and the other supervisors there, Ralph and Mark
yeah,
Cox. Um, they all come from the piling background, and they'd worked for bigger companies, Bullivants, I think it was. They all come from. So yeah, I gained experience within the smaller side of things for 10 years, but I pretty much got to the point where within that size of the work we was doing, I wasn't really going to progress much more. We was traveling around from job to job to job. These jobs are only sometimes 2 or 3 weeks long. We go on to the
yeah,
next one, to the next one. So
yeah,
it was very repetitive, and I sort of think I had it down to a T by that time, and it was getting a bit boring. Um, yeah, there wasn't too much more room to grow, I don't think. So yeah, and I'd always had in my head I wanted to go and do a bit of traveling, or get away. And I actually see an ad in the newspaper for piling works in Australia, and sort of tickled me fancy. But it was in the back of my head that whole time. And then I'd heard a couple of my mates had come over here, and yeah, just made that leap of faith. I didn't initially go for work. It was more to travel.
yeah.
And obviously done my traveling side, and then I had a little bit of a CV together, so I managed to land a job with a decent company over here. They was in the process of being bought out by Solotash Bashi.
Right.
So that transition was going on whilst I joined. So it was actually called AFS, and then they become AFS Bashi, and then took the name Solotash Bashi after a while. So
So they're a big
yeah,
firm, yeah.
they're universal. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I mentioned Bullivants before. I'm pretty sure they own them in the UK. They're a universal company.
yeah,
They're part of a bigger group. I know Vinci Group, one of the biggest construction
yeah.
companies in the world. They own Bashi, and they got a lot of
Right.
sister companies. So it's a like a tree network of a lot of companies. So Yeah. Obviously, this company I joined are a lot big scale. Big rigs, all that sort of thing. So it was a bit of a jump for me, still having the 10 years experience piling, but it was a big jump into bigger machines and, working around bigger machines. So, but, having the common sense and the experience I had, I climbed the ladder pretty quick, here. So, I was grateful. A lot of guys had a lot of support and stuff from a lot of the guys. So, yeah, it's
I was going to say, because so you started on the mini piling rigs over here. So that was probably, how big were they?
Only probably up to like 3 ton, something like that.
Ton.
The diameters we were drilling was no bigger than 350 mil.
So now what sort of size are you on now, or what did you get onto when you first went over there?
I mean, I obviously wasn't in the rig straight away. I had to work my way up. I started. They call it a green hat, so you have to wear a green hard hat, and it's to show that you're a beginner. Even though I wasn't, but I still had to go through that process. And maybe after like 7 or 8 months, I think they give me a white hard hat. I got christened, So, but yeah, it was just a growing process. The size of the rigs that they're using are 60 ton and upwards. I mean, the biggest rig I've used 160 ton. That's and the diameters of the holes we're doing, anywhere from 600 mil diameter, which is the smallest we do, probably up to 2.5. Some big boys, some real big boys. So big scale,
wicked.
mate. Big scale.
Wicked. Yeah. So we get onto that in a minute, but you say you was only meant to go there traveling first, yeah? So you did a bit of traveling before you got into that, yeah?
Yeah. I lived in Perth, which is Western Australia. I had one of my mates. He lived over there. So me and my mate Ad, we come over together, and we lived with him for a bit, and we've done all the sightseeing and traveling and what have you, and we done a bit of farm work inland, driving the big old 8-wheel sow and seed tractors. So that was a good experience. We bought a little Ford Fiesta, or Festiva, little in-betweeners car, I call it. And we set off, and we actually travelled the West Coast, stopped off here and there and everywhere, up to probably northwest, a place called Broome. And we had a decision: we either drive north to a place called Darwin in the Northern Territory, maybe steal the car and all our camping gear, or use the money we had left to pay for petrol and drive across Australia. So we actually we drove across Australia to Sydney. So we done it in 5 days, which is, I think it's like over 5,000 k, something like that. So we drove across there, driving 14 plus hours a day, from Broome to Sydney, and I've been here ever since.
That's kind of like, so that farmhand work, that's kind of the norm in it. When people want to go over there traveling and earn your keep, that's kind of what you've got to do in it.
Yeah, so the people do it because of the visa. So you get when you apply for a working holiday visa, it lasts up to 1 year. You can apply for your second year, but you have to have a certain amount of days or hours. A certain amount of hours worked rural, so like on a farm or somewhere rural. I think it's giving back to the country and that. So, but I mean, you usually get a lot of backpackers and stuff doing this farm work and stuff like that. It was actually me and Ad done it for a farmer. We done 4 weeks, I think, and I think it was day and night shift, so 7 days a week, day and night shift. But it wasn't, like a backpacker place. It was, we was the only workers there. So, it was flat out. It was a great experience. One of the best experiences I've had here, to be honest.
You had a little caravan, didn't you, or something on the farm?
Yeah, yeah. We stayed in like a demountable with a guy, I can't actually remember his name, is an old boy from New Zealand, and like he showed us the ropes and whatever. And yeah,
Right.
we had a room each, and we had the farmer's wife would cook us all our breakfast, lunch, and dinners and that, and we'd have them frozen in the freezer, so we didn't go
Yeah,
hungry. So yeah, it was honestly such a great experience. Just getting away from it all and seeing that's Australia. When you're out in the middle of nowhere like that, that's Australia. Kangaroos
yeah,
everywhere and all
definitely,
that, and lizards and
definitely, yeah,
snakes and
yeah. Oh, mate,
yeah.
don't get me on snakes and that. No, that's no good for me. No good for me. But yeah, the reason I'm touching on that is obviously I do this podcast uh, with people in the construction industry for people who want to get into these roles. So you're out there doing this thing. So that's kind of what people have got to go through. If they want to go out to Australia, do work to get their visa, then they've got to go through this
Yeah,
process. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah,
for the
for
first
sure.
year. And there's different stages, isn't there? So that's the first stage. How many stages have you been through in your career,
Yes.
visa-wise?
So, yeah, when I got to Sydney, I had a few job interviews, and the one that shone out was obviously the company that I joined. But they offered the prospect of sponsorship. So it's when the company sponsors you.
Mm.
So I'd done a 6-month probation, to make sure I was a good worker and what have you.
Yeah.
And then they offer you the sponsorship. So yeah, they sponsored me. I went through the company's lawyers, um, and it's once the sponsorship comes through, it's 4 years. So 4 year sponsorship, and then you go on to residency PR, and then obviously
Sorry,
citizenship after that.
sorry, you're making me chuckle because you got that Australian twang.
Oh,
When you go the PR, it's a little bit higher at the end of the sentence there.
well, that's
Where's
it.
that in England?
Yeah, I know. No, you got to think about it. I've been here nearly 10 years,
I know, I
and
know.
I'll be honest. When I was very first on site working, they're taking the piss out of me. Like,
Yeah,
because I'm especially with like water and like all words
yeah.
like that. And you adapt to your surroundings. Like that's what happens. And I can't
Yeah,
hear it. If I was
yeah,
me, like they still think I sound like I'm Essex, proper Essex. But
yeah.
um, I've obviously got a twang that's going to happen in it.
Yeah, definitely. What about obviously? Oh yeah, actually, yeah. So while you're out there, you met a girl from Sunderland, from up north here, yeah.
Yeah.
You
So yeah.
you still with her now. So,
Yeah.
what's her accent like? Obviously, I know her, so I know that she's got that Geordie twang. But I
Yeah.
don't think I've heard the Aussie in her really. I think it's still. Do
No,
you know what I mean?
well, no, yeah, well, she's she does marketing and stuff, so she's always
Right.
on her laptop. She's always in meetings and stuff. So for me, I feel like I mean, I can't really hear her accent that much, because we're together all the time, But I think
Yeah.
her accent's very very watered down compared,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
notice it when we've obviously come home and met up with her family and stuff, and they have a very thick accent. So I think her accent is very watered down compared to what it should be. And I
Yeah.
think that is, yeah, but like I said, being involved on meetings and stuff here and what have you.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. I mean,
yeah,
I've worked with some steel erectors from that area, mate, on site, and like I've had to tell them, you're gonna have to slow down, boys. I literally can't understand what you're saying. Like it's proper, broad, strong accent,
yeah.
which is nothing like that. There's
Yeah,
nothing like that.
I think I've got a lot of northern mates at here. There's a lot of northern guys here, a lot of Irish here. Um,
Yeah,
I think they tend to hold their accent. I think it's quite hard to lose that. I think
yeah.
with the southern accent, especially like especially anywhere east or east of London or Essex or something like that. You know, I find it very similar to the Aussie accent, you know, the way they talk. So I think it's easily, you know, adapted a bit. So
and the humour's similar as well, I imagine.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. It's weird because so you started. This was weird for us because you started April 2015, the same week as I moved into cranes. So we both on this big jump at the same time, the same week. We both didn't know we was doing it, and it's like, oh, my little brother's going to Southend. What the fuck? Southend? Well, look at Southend. It's because my daughter went Southend today. Yeah. No, I mean, little brother's going to Australia. Man, what's happening? What's all that about? And then I've done this crane apprenticeship at the same week. So it's like this journey. It's been on parallel, isn't it? So it's good. Yeah. But so going back to work, so you're on a big rig, so you got a sponsorship, you got with this big firm. They obviously put you through your tickets there. You didn't have to pay for all those, did you?
No. Sorry, mate. I was going to put this blind down. That sun's packing a bit of a punch now. Hang on.
Yeah.
Is that lighting still all right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say then?
So your tickets you had here, did you have to have proper tickets here? Was it like CPCS or anything like that?
I remember doing a rig license. But to be honest, though, it was a lot of commercial stuff. So it was a lot of residential sites. For the bigger jobs that we've done, like basement works and stuff in London, and I know we've done a bit of gas works and stuff, and Tilbury Docks as well, and stuff like that. So like some of the major contracts we needed this license. I did have a license. It was only up to a certain ton. I can't really remember, like, you know, it was a long time ago.
It was the same with me. So with the groundworks, we did a lot of it was a lot of residential. So the machines I was driving, it was the same sort of thing. So it wasn't like a CPCS, like proper. But I imagine now you got to have all the proper gear, ain't you? Like so.
Yeah.
They obviously. Go on.
Yeah, my first week when I got the job, my first week before I'd even went on site, they sent me to do some training. So I got my excavator, my EWP, so my boom lift, and I'm pretty sure my dogging ticket, which I think which is what you call a banksman.
Slinger signaller, banksman,
slinger, yeah. So basically, they're sort of like the basics of what you'd need to be in the piling sort of industry. You need to have them.
Yeah, dogging over here is something completely different.
But yeah, like with these tickets, you got to have them. I know boom lift has a high risk work license. Oh, so is there being a dogman as well. But like I said, they're the basics you got to have to sort of be involved on there. Otherwise, you're not.
So
and a white card as well. A white card is it's like a general induction white card. You need that. You need that to work in most construction sites, or pretty much all construction sites. Yeah.
So is that entry level, the white card, or is that
entry level? Yeah.
Yeah. So over here it will be red card until you get your NVQ, and then you go on to a blue card, which is like competent. So you get a red card is like trained operator, and then blue card is a competent operator. So
okay, yeah.
Is that a similar thing? Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
White cards is in general construction. You need a white card.
Okay.
Yeah. Work in any sort of construction. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if someone was going to want to go over there and if they couldn't get into a company that was going to pay for their tickets, how much would they be looking at to train to do the jobs that you do?
A white card is cheap.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it is because it's years ago. I mean, it's not going to be any more than $100, $100, I'd say.
Right.
But the rest of them, I mean, you got your high risk work tickets, which are they're things like I said, like a dogman or stinger, whatever you'd call it.
Yeah.
Your riggers, so that's like the next steps after dogman, rigging up, and there's three steps of that. There's basic rigging, intermediate rigging, and advanced rigging, which they're different stages of rigging. Obviously, your crane tickets and boom lift, forklift, they're sort of all high risk work. Things like excavator. I think the year that I come here, they took excavator off high risk work, and you just have to have an SOA, so like statement of attainment, like a VOC, a verification of competency. So you'd still have to go and do training for it, at a training facility, and they just give you a card still, but it's not high risk work, and you just have to update that every 2 years. I think is update your VOCs, and that's pretty much in any machine. You have to have a third party check that you're competent to operate the machine, and it just updates it every 2 years.
Right. So, okay. Yeah. So
that's what the sites require.
Similar. It's like same here. We have to do like a module, so it's like a touchscreen test. So the company, I just get an email or something or phone call say you need to go so and so place at this date, this time. Go press some buttons on the screen. Obviously, you get revision material to look at first and all that sort of stuff, just to make sure you do know what you're doing.
Yeah, it was practical as well. So we every couple of years we'd have to do, like I said, something like that, and then they do a practical one as well, just to make sure you know what you're doing.
Oh, so. Okay. Yeah. No, we don't have the practical. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's good actually. I think you should do that. Yeah.
A lot of like the tier one companies, a lot of them do it in house. So like the safety officer will usually have the qualification to be able to do that VOC with you. Because they would have undergone training to be able to do that. But sometimes they require a third party. So sometimes another company would have to come in to do the VOC for you, So
yes.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about tier one quite a lot actually. So explain that to me, like the tiers.
Tier one, obviously the bigger companies, the bigger jobs, the more expensive jobs. They're like, they're the ones that like the tier ones, like your companies like your Lend-Leases, John Holland, Lang O'Rourke, like all these guys. And I'd say like the bigger piling companies, these bigger piling companies are getting on these tier one jobs, So they're tier one piling companies. That's how I'd see them. So they're just more of a presence, a bigger company, more machines, more workers, and they deal with the more technical jobs, I guess, bigger scale, diameters and what have you. So
you mentioned Lend-Lease. Actually, they're actually selling their UK division. They're selling it. Yeah,
true. Okay.
Yeah, I was meant to actually be interviewing one of their senior management. Instead of you actually this week, but he because of this big sale thing, he's been really busy. So I've had to push him back a month. So yes, I don't know who they're selling to yet, but it's an interesting thing. Yeah, selling up. So that'll be interesting to find out who's buying it up, who we're going to be working for in the future.
Yeah.
So So you mentioned earlier that you had to start from the beginning, work your way up. How did you find that? Yes. Did you get the respect that you needed? Did you get the help that you needed?
It's the same at any job, like you got to prove yourself, and it was hard, trying to gain the respect, an outsider, outcast coming in, a different nationality as well, and it did take a while, and especially like going from having experience in this field, having to put on a green hat and start from the bottom, but it is what it is. I kept my head down and proved my worth. and I've got noticed, pretty quick. So, and it's just earning the respect of the guys. I'm a people person in that respect. I get on with people well. I do what I'm told. And it's like managed to climb the ladder pretty quick. Like I said, and I think I got the respect from everyone eventually.
Yeah,
it might maybe take a little while. It was frustrating. Don't get me wrong. It was very frustrating. Being in charge, and then suddenly someone's talking down to me. It's big thing.
Yeah,
so.
that's the thing. But I mean, a lot of English go over there to work anyway, don't they? So they must be used to it. Or does it annoy them? Does it get annoying for them? Like, because over here, like, when there's a bit of a stigma for foreigners coming over, they're coming over here doing our work, telling us what to do, blah blah blah. Or are they more accepting over there, or does it get on the nerves?
Probably a bit of both, I'd say.
Right.
I know a lot of English people and Irish people in the industry here. A lot, 50%, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I know, especially where I live. I live in the eastern suburbs in Sydney, and the population here of English and Irish is massive.
Yeah.
But be or end all, when you're good at your job, you're good at
This
your
is
job.
it. This is
I
it.
find that as a nation, like England or whatever, I feel like the work ethic is very good and hardworking.
Right.
So, but I think it doesn't matter what nationality you are in the end. To be honest, I think if you're hardworking and you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and you perform well, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. To be honest.
I think the attitude helps as well. If you go over there with a chip on your shoulder, thinking you're the Billy Big Bollocks, I don't think that would help. I mean, you're pretty chilled out, pretty laid back, easy going, get on with people, but also, got to have a little bit of respect back as well. The same sort of thing,
Exactly. Yeah, you got to stay humble. Know when to open your mouth and know when to shut it, I guess. And it's just it all work out in the end, So
cool. So let's talk about the unions. Over in the States, the unions are massive, aren't they? What's it like there?
Yes.
I think they're quite big there as well, aren't they?
They're big, yes. So they're in each state, and they're different sector for each state. They have different sectors, for like construction and plumbing, and the list goes on. The company that I've previously worked for, they were unionized. So basically, we have a contract, an EBA, and this it's a union-based contract. So when we're negotiating our contracts, the union basically delegate they do it for you, and it's everything down to like from your wages, just all the rules from a worker's point of view to the company. So we have to abide by their rules, and they have to abide by our contract. So, and this contract usually they usually last 4 years. And it obviously gets renewed every 4 years. Sometimes you do 2 years. The companies haven't got to go through the union, but the main probably 4 big piling companies here, they're all unionized. So, and it's all the same agreement, And I feel like if we're all doing the same work, same job, same work, it should be the same. They should all, it should be fair, and all of us should be getting paid the same. I think, and living by the same rules. So it's
I think it's good. It's not really a big thing here. I think it should be more of a thing where we get looked after more. I think there'll be a lot less problems, safety-wise in particular, and all sorts. You get all sorts of problems like mental health, the wages, especially with inflation now here as well. It's killing us. Like the wages isn't matching inflation, so it's kind of kind of a like a chain reaction, like
Yeah. Well, that's what they
so,
factor in. They factor in the economy and stuff, and toll prices on the roads. They're very
yeah,
expensive in Sydney.
yeah,
So they account for all of this sort of thing, which is good. I think they're for the people, so
yeah,
it's
exactly.
it is good, and like I said, they're delegating, so they're dealing with all the politics and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot better. So
yeah,
I'm obviously I'm part of the union. I pay my fees. So
yeah.
it's
How much are the fees then?
top of my head, maybe it's just over $500, maybe every 6 months, I think, something like
Okay,
that. So yeah, you obviously claim
okay.
it back with tax. It's tax.
So yeah,
Yeah,
about $100 a month. Yeah.
something like
Well,
that.
just under. Just under. Yeah. So what's that in pounds? What's the
Well, I think
conversion?
pretty much. I don't really know these days. Probably need to half it. I think that's what I usually do.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Somewhere along them
Oh,
lines. Yeah.
yeah. So you're at the stage now where you've got your. Yeah, I want to go back to the stage of your visa. You've got your citizenship now, haven't you?
Yes. I got it in
So you
the end of March this year.
so you've got a dual passport now, haven't you? Have you got dual
Yeah.
passport?
Just got my Aussie
Just
passport
come.
come through maybe like a month ago. Maybe. Yeah.
So how many
Yeah.
stages are there to get to that?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to be sponsored by the company I joined.
Yeah, yeah,
The sponsorship, it lasted for 4 years.
yeah.
So after the 4 years, I was eligible to apply for PR, permanent residency. Um,
Right.
the company still has to nominate you, so they have to nominate me for sponsorship, and they have to nominate you for PR as well. I think they have to pay like a levy charge.
Right.
And then I used the company's lawyers to go through that process. I was got my PR, maybe had it for maybe 3 years, but
Yeah.
I was eligible because I've been in the country for longer than 4 years. I think after a year, I was eligible to apply for my citizenship after a year, but I think I was on PR for about 3 years until I applied for my citizenship. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. So
and you have to renew your PR. I think every 5 years. I'm pretty sure.
okay.
So
Right.
yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So how much does it cost you in total then to get to that stage?
Um, so sponsorship, I'm pretty sure cost me around about $5,000.
Right.
Um, it will in between 5 and 6, I think. I think I covered the levy charge that the company would have paid as well.
Yeah.
And my permanent residency was a little bit more expensive. It was 14,000. That was for me and Sophia.
Right.
And then the citizenship, which I've just done, was about $500. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it depends. I hear of people. I obviously use lawyers, company
Yeah.
lawyers, which are very good.
Yeah.
They deal with everything for you. You just give them all the information and they do it all for you. But I've heard of people doing it themselves, doing all the paperwork and stuff themselves, probably saving a few bucks.
Yeah.
And different lawyers and different people are going to cost. It's going to cost different money. It could be a little bit cheaper, but
Yeah.
from what I've heard of other people doing it, it usually ranges in between, like for permanent residency, in between $11,000 and $14,000.
Right. So okay. So that's without sponsorships. If that
Yep.
was, so yeah. So how easy would it be for someone to go there if they didn't have a sponsorship? How difficult would it be?
So you'd always initially usually you'd start on a working holiday visa.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it cost me about £100. So I got the visa before I come to Australia. You apply
Yeah.
for it. You then got a year to you can obviously work.
Yeah.
You can do your farm work to get your second year. You can do a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how many hours it is, but you have to get them signed off and whatever
Yeah.
to gain your second year. Sponsorship wise, there's a list, and I know since I've been here that list has changed. Obviously, my job title was on the list when I got sponsored.
Right.
I'm not sure if it is now.
Right.
It might not be, but they change it. They change it every now and then. So I'm guessing it's depending on what they need economy wise in the country. The list is going to change, you know. So.
And do you have to fit a certain criteria, like experience wise or whatever, like anything like that?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you would have had to have a certain amount of experience in it,
Right.
and or qualifications and stuff like that. So,
Right.
yeah, I think I was lucky. I'm pretty sure that my job title they put me through, I'm pretty sure that got taken off of the list as soon as I got sponsored. It was taken off the list, but obviously I was already sponsored by then. So
yeah,
I was lucky.
yeah. Yeah. Got straight in the door, straight in there. Bosh.
Yeah, but
So,
you'd be able to research it, and you'd be able to go online, and you'd be able to find the list. Like I said, the list does change, and you'd be able to see if your job title was on there.
yeah.
I was lucky. It's like a lot of people that really want to stay here, I think, struggle to stay here if their job's not on the list, and
Right.
it's it wasn't easy, but like I was lucky, I feel like
Yeah.
I was in the right place at the right time with the right offer, and
Yes.
it was I've had a smooth process, I feel like.
Yeah.
Some people, they've really had to work hard and and maybe even get a new job in one of these fields to be able to stay, and it's hard work,
Just kind of making do sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much work is out there in your sector right now? If people want to go out there to find work,
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of infrastructure wise.
Right.
All the main cities like Perth has constantly work there. Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. So all the major cities have all got big infrastructure going on. A lot of tunneling works. So within my sort of job, we do like the entrances and the station boxes and the exits for these tunnels. They always need piling or diaphragm walls and stuff like that. So the infrastructure in these major cities, a lot of new train lines and stuff like that, is massive. Is really big. Brisbane have got the Olympics. I think they're coming up in a few years. I don't know when it is, but so the infrastructure there is going to blow up. I've done a lot of work, so it's all around the country. I've done a lot of fly in, fly out work. I've been away for the whole time I've been here. I've worked away a lot. Back and forth,
I was going to ask about that actually. How's that been? Because you're based in Sydney, aren't you?
Based in Sydney, yeah.
At the moment. So how's that been for you? All that travelling?
Hard. It's been experience wise, and getting to see the country and whatever else, and experience in the work side of things as well has been unbelievable. I've gained so much knowledge and experience, like which I'm really grateful for. But being away, from friends and obviously family, and being away from sofas, it's a big impact, and a lot of the guys I work with, find it hard too. It's within this industry. That's unfortunately that is how it is. If there's not any work, if there's not any work locally, you got to go and work away to keep working. And it's that is this industry, especially here. I know it is in the UK. I've got a lot of mates that work in the UK in the same in the piling sector, and they're away from Monday to Friday every week, and they get to go home at the weekends. But it's that's the piling game, it is how it is. Yeah. But like I said,
there's been times you've been quite ill, haven't you, where you sort of worked yourself into the grounds and travelled a lot.
Yeah. It becomes a lot like here. Usually, you're required to work at most every Saturday. I know, like for instance, in Melbourne, they have a forced RDO, so it's a rostered day off. So you accumulate these RDOs, we call them. So they take like 4 hours out your wage every week, and you accumulate annual leave basically. So every 2 weeks, they have a Monday off in Victoria, which is it's for fatigue and to just have a bit of a rest. But we do big hours. I mean, you know yourself. We do big hours. We work at least 10 hours a day. Sometimes 12 hours a day, and have to work every Saturday, 6 days a week. The hours build up, and especially if you're working away, you're away from your family and your friends and stuff. You want to be doing the hours. That's what you're there for. So
absolutely,
you're there to earn your money. And I've been doing this a long time, and it does wear you down a lot. It does.
Yeah. So you took a bit of a break. You took a bit of a break because of that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I finished up my previous company in the middle of December last year. I was supervising before I quit actually, and I thought because I come back to England for Christmas and New Year's, and I thought I'll have a month off. I'll try and find something new in the new year, and then sort of 1 month turned into 2, turned into 3, and I've been doing this for nearly 19 years, non-stop, long hours, 6 days a week. And I obviously started on the ground, my back's, playing up. I've got arthritis in my shoulders, my neck, my knees starting to go, so it took a toll on the body. And, I thought I deserve a little bit of time off. So I've enjoyed it, especially in this beautiful country.
Oh, mate, I'm telling you, honestly. Mate,
I've been fishing, fishing, playing golf, playing tennis, playing squash, and spending some time with I've got a couple of godchildren, so spend some time with the kids, and I'd say like actually having a life, because having 1 day off a week, and you're absolutely knackered on that Sunday, it's nice to be able to have a bit of a life, and. So
definitely, but and also that Sunday you've got jobs to do at home, so it's not as though you can just chill out, because there's always something to do, isn't
there? Exactly that. There's always she'd always have plans for me, doing this, doing that, the other. So it's
tell me about it. But it's just a good job you saved your pennies enough to be able to do that, isn't it?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
But talking of that, So if someone wanted to go out there and do that, what sort of salaries would they be looking at for the sort of roles that you do?
Yeah, so I actually work off the base of wages. So in our industry, usually the supervisors go on salary. So they'll have a fixed rate annually. I don't know, maybe separate contracts for bonuses and stuff like that, but they'd have a fixed salary a year. So like usually the workers work off wages. So it's structured in our industry. It's structured in a way in levels, and each level will describe what type of works you're able to do. So you'll have a level 1. And it usually, I'm pretty sure, it goes up to level 8. So level 1 would be, entry level, not much experience, and then, and there'll be stages through that up to maybe like, your level 6, level 7, level 8. They're like maybe like a mobile crane users, excavators, rig operators, and usually like your top levels usually can supervise as well and become leading hands if they need to be. So that's the way it's structured, and it describes each level as you go up. So you want to move up in these levels. It's the same structure in each state for the sort of piling industry. So that's how it's structured, and obviously your wage levels obviously increase each level as well. You get add-ons as well with the wages, so penalties. So for instance, you do your 8-hour days, anything over 8 hours, you're on double time after that. So if we're working 10-hour days, you're getting 2 hours double time. So I know that here, which is a crazy thing, is working in the rain. We usually get penalties for that as well. So we're usually on different rains, usually getting double time, which is
that is mad,
pretty unheard of over there, wouldn't it?
That is mad.
I thought so when I first come in. I was like, hey,
sorry to interrupt. Do you remember back in the day you said you worked with me and as a ground worker? We'd be on site, right? And literally, bit of rain or bit of snow, whatever, all the trades will fuck off. All the trades, all the quickies, sparkies, we go home, or they go hide indoors. But we literally would be working in the snow, pissing down with rain, high winds, trenches flooded, and we'd be in there, freezing cold, everything frozen, shovels. You can't even shovel the sand because it's just bang, bang, hitting ice. So now you're getting rewarded for working in a little bit of rain.
That's it, mate. Well, I know where I come from. I always say to these boys, because you don't start work in the rain, and if it does, if it's raining, you get out the rain. It's only if like you're in the middle of a concrete pour, or it's critical. Usually, if it's critical works that need to be done, you got even if you're doing like CFA or something like that, you finish what you're doing, you can't sort of just get up and leave. You got to get it done. So sometimes they'll reduce the crews. People that haven't got to be out there, they'll be like, right, you guys get out of the rain, this crew, and they'll skeleton crew it. So like, we'll skeleton crew back and forth. So it's not like we have to work in it. Like you're saying back then. I say to these guys, I said I was born in the rain. Heck yeah, it's always raining. If we didn't work, we didn't get paid.
Exactly.
That's pretty much the way of it back there. So but it's with what we're doing, it's all safety and stuff like that as well. Slip, trips, and falls, and even being able to see, like if it's if you can't see out your cabin and and your blind sides and stuff because of the rain, like there's only so much you can do. So that's another big thing. But back to the contract that we were saying before. There's a lot of good things for the workers, that we benefit from this contract. We're safeguarded from a lot of things, and I think it's good to work by the rules,
Absolutely.
So it protects us as workers, and it's obviously protects the company as well. So it's a good contract, and I agree with it. Obviously, you don't have to go through a lot of these companies, these bigger companies, or they do it themselves and they negotiate a contract that's not unionized, which is fine, But for me, bog standard, wage wise, at least other top companies are getting the same thing. You're doing the same work. I think it's fair. So I really
wicked.
I agree with it.
Same. But what stresses you out the most? What have you got to deal with on a day-to-day basis that really stresses you out?
I'd say what stresses me out day to day. I think, well, firstly, like the stresses of having to work 6 days a week for starters. That like having to give up your Saturday. That's your weekend, and I don't mind sometimes. I like the jobs where especially like the government jobs, you get to start a little bit later on a Saturday, so you start maybe an hour later, and then they sort of maybe sometimes they shut the jobs early as well, so you can only maybe do like 8 till 1, maybe, which I quite like, because you still get half your Saturday, you know. But some of the jobs require you to do a full day on a Saturday. It's stressful, you know, and it knackers you out. Maybe the other thing is probably like, but this is the same anyway. It's like maybe incompetence of some people. Like, you get your fair share of people that know what they're doing, but you get your fair share that don't. And it drives me, you know, common sense. And I feel like you probably see it as well when you're an operator and you're sitting in the crane, or you're sitting in the rig or something like that. You tend to see things that they can't see when the boys are out there up amongst it, you know. And like, don't get me wrong, when I'm out there, I might be doing the same thing. I might be, you know what I mean? But you tend to have that, you know, third line of sight of seeing things that are going wrong, and you know, you can sort of point it out. And I think, what the hell are they doing? Like, why are they doing that? It could be something so simple, but because you're doing it, you can't see it. Like, you know, so it's
but sometimes
that stresses me out.
Oh, mate, that is so frustrating. But sometimes I know for them it's difficult because they've got so much going on. But sometimes you just got to take a step back, bit of planning, just take stock of the situation. But also it's like the chain, isn't it? The chain of authority. Like, you got what you say, the dogmen. They're getting told to do something by their supervisors, and then they're getting told to do something by their supervisors, and they're saying to them, "Yeah, but it's not right. No, just do it. Just fucking do it. Just do as you're told." It's like that, isn't it? But we're looking at it down thinking, you're just a bunch of idiots. What are you doing? Yeah. Anyway.
I know what you mean. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy that's that moaning old fella that's in the crane or the machine. Like, oh god, what's he saying again? But like, you're just pointing out the obvious, you know.
Mate, it's our prerogative to moan.
I mean, you got to bite your tongue sometimes, and you know, but obviously if it's unsafe, point it out. But I see a lot of stuff, you know, dangerous stuff that happens, and you got to point it out, and you know.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there's some stories. Yeah, you got any stories then? Got any stories for us?
Probably, yeah. I've got a few stories. I'd say one, probably one that stands out for me. I'm obviously not going to name any names or anything like that, but I was on a job once, and I was doing a CFA, so it's continuous auger in a big machine. We was drilling like, I think 32 meters, 900 diameters. Some big piles, and some of them that we get a cage that you're supposed to put in. Once you concreted the hole, you obviously you put the cage in. Some of them were full depth cages, so you can sort of put them down, and they'll stop when you get to the bottom, and you either hang them or whatever. But the part of the job that we was on, they wasn't full length cages. There was heavy cages, you know, like I don't know how heavy they would have been, like maybe six ton plus, like big cages. And they was doing it next to me. I had an exclusion zone, whatever, but I could see them sort of. If I opened my cab, I could talk to them, sort of thing. Anyway, I'm drilling, and I'm seeing he's coming down the crane's lowering it in, and it's getting close. So usually, like, when it gets to that sort of certain point, you put a trapping bar, we call it, like a rated bar, through the cage, and it will stop on either ground level or on your top hat you got over the top of it. Anyway, so it's just coming down, it's sort of slowing down. The guy's he's undone the hooks, and I'm thinking, oh, he's just gonna grab that trapping bar and shove it through. And I'm drilling, so I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and I'm sort of, I can see him in the corner of my eye, and he's standing there, and he's sort of just looking at it, and he's not moving. And I'm like, it'll trap that in a minute. It'll trap that in a minute. And it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, I open the door, and I'm like, trap it. And he's sort of like, he's looking, and like, he's trying to get the crane to come down. So like, the crane's already up, and he's slewed up, like already slewed away. Usually you know, I mean, it's the craney as well. We stay above it just in case you need to pick it back up again. We always stay above it, you know, for things like this happening. And he's panicking, and I'm like, get the excavator, you know, and he's grabbed the excavator, and the excavator's he's trying to be all delicate with it and trying to, like, you know, just trying to grab it to stop it from going down. And I'm like, just hit it, you know, just hit it, like grab it, you know. We can sort all that out after and align it back up and what have you. And he's trying to get it, and boom, lost. You know, and that's and then the cage went down into the thing, and you know that we have to drill an extra 2 piles, which is like, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, for the time, labor, the concrete. You know, you do the maths, like just need 10 grand or something like that, just for the most smallest little mistake. And the guy that was there initially, that was you know dogging the crane and whatever, like, he's had years experience and like should have known better. And then I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I was speechless, you know. I just honestly couldn't get my head around it, you know.
Just a lack of
little things like that. It's being complacent, you know. I think he was obviously on a different part of the job before where they probably had full length cages, so that's how they was doing it up on this section of the job or whatever. And this time he let it go, and I couldn't believe it. Like, that's just one example. You know, I've seen plenty of things like that happen.
Did he get sacked or anything?
No, he didn't. No, which is strange, to be honest. You know, like, these things do happen. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But
absolutely.
For the fact it was one of the bigger piles we was doing, you know, maybe if it was a smaller scale one, it wouldn't have been as bad. But no, it's still a mistake's a mistake, and it reflects on us as a company back then. You know, like, what, you know, what are these guys doing? Do you know what I mean? You know, like,
oopsie daisy.
It happens. It happens. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we've all messed up, haven't we? I mean, I've certainly messed up a few times, not quite to that scale, I must admit, but I don't think he'll do that again. Well, let's hope not.
No. But, like, you know, like you said, everyone makes mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I've made a few mistakes here and there, and you know, but that's how else do you learn? Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. I feel like safety here and on the level we work in is very high, very thorough. I feel like that is, and I enjoy that part of it. I'm glad it's safe, you know, and the procedures. You know, it's a lot of paperwork and stuff like that, but be or end all, if it's, you know, keeping people safe, and you know, you get fatalities in the injury and people getting really injured and stuff like that, and you know, especially as an operator, you know, you've always, even though you've got people telling you what to do on the radio and this, that, and the other, you're always going to look yourself. You know, there's been times where, like, someone's told me, just sleep around to your right, mate, and I'm like, I'm always going to look, and there's a crane above me and another rig working there. So I'm like, what about the crane, mate? And you know, just the small things. You know, you've always got to have a look yourself. You can trust that person, but you're the last person yourself. You got to have a look yourself. You know. And,
absolutely. Everyone's got to take some sort of responsibility, either prior to an action or even after an incident happening. Like, even if it's not your fault, you have to take some sort of responsibility. Is there something 100%. I could have done there? Is there something I could have done there to prevent that, or whatever? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can tell you an example of that. Actually, I was operating a crane once, and I was lifting. Funny enough, I was lifting the cage in the hull, and I had the boys. I think they I don't know if they had a radio. I'm pretty sure they had a radio, but I was getting hand signals and radio, and I was coming round, and they had an excavator was parked. So I lifted the cage up. I was slewing around, and like, keep coming around, and there was an excavator right in front of me. So, in where I was putting the cage into the hole, I was blind. So I got round to the point, and I could sort of still see them, and they're like, "Yep," and they're like, "Stop." So I stopped. And as I was coming down, I was like, "Yeah, come down." maybe I didn't have a radio, maybe it was just hand signals, and I couldn't see them either. So they every now and then they pop their head round and be like, "Yep, keep coming down," or you know, what I mean, boom down, this that, and the other. So I'm doing it, and I was coming down until the point where I couldn't see my hook. So there's excavators literally right in front of me, right here, and I couldn't see my hook, and I'm coming down. I think I might have been using two lines, so I had my main hook and my auxiliary line. I was obviously having to feed both of them down at the same time. It got to the point where something got hooked, where my main hook come round slightly, maybe to 45 degrees. So I lost it, and I'd seen it on my weight. Luckily, there's a roller on the winch as well. The rollers are quite tight, so it didn't come off the winch. But 45 is enough for it to come off a little bit, you know. Luckily, I see it on the weight, so I've come up like to take the weight again properly. Someone on site, the lifting supervisor for the client we was working for, see it, and I got in the shit about that. But even though, like, you know, there was 5 people in front of me behind, like, you know, and they was obviously having a bit of a chin wag and having a, you know, having a laugh and a joke and whatever, and none of them told me. Do you know what I mean? They're supposed. I'm trusting them to keep an eye on me, because they know I'm blind. They know I can't see. But be or end all, you know, I should have stopped probably and said, "Look, I can't see, boys. Let's move this excavator so I can see." You know, I trusted them. They had too much overconfidence in me. You know, I feel like they should have been paying attention more. But be or end all, I took full responsibility for the mess up. You know, and I took that even though it pissed me off that I had to take responsibility for it. Like, I'm in the seat, you got to take that responsibility. You know, and I got a bit of a bollocking for that. You know, and which is fair enough. I think I had to I think I had to resit. I had to do. They took my verification of competency off me then, and I had to redo it on site then. And you know, and it's just, you know, it's a process. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's like you said before, like, these little things happen, you know, but you got to take responsibility for it. And I take full responsibility for it. I just, you know, next time I would have stopped. I won't trust that guy that's on the ground in front of me, or the guys, you know, like I said, the guys that were there in front of me. So you know, it is what it is. You know,
there's three times. Well, actually, one of them wasn't my fault really, but there's 2 times that I've really actually shit myself, thinking, whoa, I could have actually killed someone there. So the first time, I was quite new to crane driving, so I was on a quiet job to start with, and I said, look, I need to gain more experience. I'll do no lifts here. So they said, right, I've got a job for you. Bonk, jump me like yourself straight in the deep end on this busy job, put me on a busy crane, big job, getting screamed at. So anyway, the building wasn't even out of the ground yet. They were just doing all the steel work and everything, like steel cages and that. And I had a big, massive, I think it was like a big cage, like rebar cage, while just moving from one area to another on the ground. Two crane supervisors on it, and they said, "What? Just bring." I had to float it out about probably, I don't know, 7-8 meters. So just keep the load level. But because I was inexperienced on them cranes, you don't have like a float button which keeps it level. So you've got to keep an eye on the height all the time, because the jib lowers it, and you've got to hoist up with it to thingy, But it wasn't keeping an eye on it. So I was just thinking, oh, I'm doing that. But obviously, I was like 100 meters up, so you can't really see. And it was lowering and lowering and lowering. And I didn't realise. And all of a sudden, they jumped down like that, stopped, and it's just gone bang straight into another load of steel. And like that if they didn't jump out of the way, it would have killed them, like squashed them. And that was like me, like, sorry lads, that's my bad. I had to hold my hands up. Second time, I was striking shuttering. So they just done a big shutter on it, the clamps connected to it, and I struggle with earwax. So sometimes I have to like syringe and that, but I had a big build up. But I'm not going to use that excuse. Couldn't hear very well, right? And he just said, right, just take the weight a little bit. And I thought he said, take it up. So I thought I started hoisting up. Of course, that was like a 24-ton lifter, so you don't really notice like a little bit of weight, and all of a sudden the crane's gone boom like that, and yeah, you can imagine that the clamps have just exploded everywhere. So could have killed them. And I'm like, what happened there, mate? And he was like, yeah, that's all right, mate. You've just exploded the clamps. So no worries. Fucking hell. And like, you know, like when you're shaking, you think, whoa, that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So
but then
it's
like you said, like I've had inexperienced guys in front of me. Again, when I'm blind, so I'm behind something. I can't see. I'm on the radio, and they're telling me to slew right. Well, I know full well they want me to slew left, and they're also they're like boom up, rope down, boom up, rope down. When I know that they want me to boom down, rope up, like it's, do you know what I mean? I know what they want, so I'll do what I've been in many positions like that when I'll tell them, I think, don't you mean this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh yeah, sorry, mate. You know.
With me, if I can see if it's not blind, if I can see it, I just pretty much ignore them and just do what I know is meant to be done. But if it's blind, I will say to them, look, mate, are you sure about that? Is that what you want me to do? Like, you know, because normally on a blind, I do exactly what they tell me to do because you've got no choice. And I'll say to them, like, don't you mean so and so? You know what I mean? Yeah, taking responsibility.
yeah.
So what? So obviously you love your job.
Yeah.
Would you ever come back here?
Yes, good question. I'd say if you'd asked me that 4 or 5 years ago, I'd have been like, no way. I was like, I was in the peak and loving life, and I feel like now, potentially. Now, obviously, got citizenship and I've got a dual passport. The options more there, but it's such a hard one because been here so long now, created a life here, and it took a leap of faith to leave England to come out here. Now it's got to the point where it would take a leap of faith to come back. It's hard, and it's every time I come back for holidays and come back to see family and friends and stuff, and everyone's grown up in the industry. For me, like I'd have to get all my licenses and everything there, and to work, and then like at least
would you could would they not be transferable? You get like an NPAWS. So. I think they do NPAWS here now when you can transfer. I think I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, maybe then. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it, but I just imagine that I'd have to do a lot of that stuff. And I know, like I said to you before, like a lot of the guys I know, they're in the industry, these bigger companies, they're away Monday to Friday. They're never at home every week, so they're always away. They're rarely not away. They come home at weekends. I think they don't work too many Saturdays, which is good. So they still get their whole weekends, but just being away every week. And some of the digs they stay in, like they ain't great. Like when I work away here, we always stay in the best places, like some decent places. I've been very lucky. I'm surprised, but that's the whole point, that they look after it because you do a lot of working away. You're away from your families and friends and whatever else. They look after you. So I stayed at some real good places, So very very lucky there. So yeah, sorry. Back to what you're saying. It's a hard one. I've got made a life here, now, and it's a bit. I'd struggle, especially like with me and Sophia. We're obviously from different ends of the country back there as well. From Essex, she's from Sunderland, so it's like, where would you live, And don't get me wrong, I've thought about it loads of times, and I've brainstormed different scenarios of what I could do, and maybe try something different, like maybe not do my thing. But my job's all I know. I've been doing it for nearly 19 years. So like, what else could I do? And I've thought about it. But I don't know. You just never know what's around the corner, do you? So at least
No.
the option now of coming back and forth is obviously I can do it now. I've got a dual passport. I can,
Yeah.
do what the hell I want. So the option is more viable now, more there now than it was before. So you never know what's around the corner, mate. You just don't know. But at the moment, I mean, it's winter. The sun's out. Like it's nice in the day here now. Like beautiful days here at the moment. Been a bit of rain lately, to be honest. But the lifestyle, economy wise, like I think it's just it's a great country. It is a great country.
Yeah. So what do you like most, and what do you like the least about it there, like as a country?
Well, the weather's obviously unreal. I feel like it's a very outdoorsy country. We live close to the beach. I mean, I'm looking at the ocean right now from my balcony. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
Like it's a very outdoorsy country, which I think is good. Especially like for kids growing up and stuff like that. I think's unreal. That's probably my favourite part about it. You can, I live in the city, but you can drive an hour and a half and somewhere out the city, and it's beautiful country. Like it's unreal getting out there, and all the beaches and whatever else. Like it's just unbelievable. I'd say what's my least favorite thing? That's a hard one, to be honest. What's my least favorite thing? I don't know. I mean, it's a big country. Go on.
Oh yeah, so obviously the travelling. Yeah, travelling will be a big thing, wouldn't it? Like,
to drive. If you want to, you can fly places pretty easy enough. Really easy, to be honest. Even rural places you can fly to, and it's very quick. But to drive somewhere, it's it's a long way to drive to these places.
But
I'm trying to think, mate. To be honest, I don't really know.
I reckon food.
Food, yeah. That is, it's a big thing. I don't get me wrong. I do like the food out here, but like for some reason, I think the fruit in England tastes better.
Yeah,
the cakes taste better.
Yeah.
I was actually on the phone to our auntie last night, and because I used to do a lot of baking cakes growing up. And I was asking, I was like, oh, what's the recipe you use for this Victoria sponge? And she's like, bloody hell. She's like, I can't remember that. Like, she did at the end. She was telling me because it's Sophia's birthday on Wednesday, so I want to bake a cake.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Right. The food, like I miss me gammon, egg, and chips. That's my favourite. You can't get that gammon and that over here. Not the same as here anyway.
Ice cream,
and obviously. Yeah, different. Obviously, the family as well. That's the biggest thing of that we miss. Obviously all you guys, and that's hard. That's probably the hardest thing, to be honest. But it's like it's hard because I look at my life. I love my family and I miss my family, but I look at my life and where I was all them years ago, and I look at where I am now. I've almost got to reinvent myself a little bit as a person out here, I feel like, and make better choices in life. I feel like I'm making better choices, making the right choices, I'd say, as well. And I don't know. I feel like I've sort of thrived and been given a second chance. I feel like
that's the thing. That's the thing for me. Obviously, when you went, you was quite young, and it was hard for us. But when you love someone, you've got to let them live their life. You've got to let them find themselves.
That's right.
You've got to let them make their mistakes and learn from them. I mean, I remember checking in on you once a week on the phone, like, what are you doing now? Sometimes I couldn't get hold of you. Like, you'd lost your phone or you'd lost your wallet. I remember one time I remember one
Yeah.
time you'd lost your shoes, your wallet, your phone, and your watch or something. Yeah, all in one go in one night.
Yeah,
I think
I was a bit, yeah, a bit of a nightmare. I was a bit of a nightmare when I first come out. Yeah, like, oh yeah,
yeah,
I was, you know, do
yeah,
you know what? It was hard. I mean, when I first got to Sydney, you know, we'd exhausted all our money on petrol and stuff like that. I didn't have a job. You know,
yeah,
times were hard. Like, you know, I remember. I remember one point I was eating like pasta and gravy, I think, for dinner, like, you know, just like scraping by. These are the things
yeah,
that people don't see or know about, you know, and
yeah, yeah.
it was a struggle, you know, for quite a while. And then I look at myself now, you know, and what I've accomplished, and you know, we've got a nice 2-bedroom apartment, you know. Like I said, I've
Mm.
got an ocean view, a balcony, and we got a squash court downstairs, swimming pool, sauna, gym.
Nice. Yeah. All
Like,
right, mate.
you
Don't
know,
rub it in. You know.
yeah, that's hard work, mate. That's hard work and the right choices, you know. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, obviously we're going out partying a lot when I first got here. It's still young, you know, and but you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're gonna do all that the backpacker thing, and you know, it was fun. Like it's, you know,
Yeah.
good, but I struggle these days, mate. A couple of glasses of wine, mate, and
Tell me about it. Honestly, mate. Honestly, yeah. It's not easy, is it? Yeah.
yeah, it takes its toll now. Takes its toll now.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely. So when you obviously it's getting late now, so don't want to get. What is it now? It's nearly 20. It's 20 to 1 now, my time. So we'll
Yeah.
get, you know, not too longer. But when you before you got you got into piloting at a young age, 17. What advice would you give to that
Yeah.
16, 17-year-old boy?
As in me.
Yes, you, Richard Webb.
I try. The first thing that pops into my head is when you're lifting stuff, lift it properly. You know, you get all these old boys who are like, stop lifting with your back,
Yeah,
like bend your knees, you know, and like keep your back straight and all this. You know, we used to have these like meter long augers. I mean, you probably know like meter long augers.
mm,
And they were heavy. They're heavy duty, a fixed stem. And I used to just be there, 15 of these things on the ground, and I'd be picking them up above my
mm,
shoulders and just launching them into a front loader, one after the other, you know, dropping cages in the trenches, like, you know, your cabin beam cages in like heavy, just two of us, and we'd be down there bending over, like holding it with one hand, lowering it down, like all these little things like that. I'm thinking, you know, I'd be like, what are you doing? You know, because
mm.
these old boys are telling you, don't do that. He was probably one of them telling me, don't lift like that, don't do that, you know, or even dad telling us, you know, we worked with dad before.
No,
And
I think I was one of the idiots doing all those being a hero things. You know,
yeah.
trust me, I'm paying for those years now. Like literally, I've like 2 years of physio on my back
Yeah,
and all that sort of stuff
yeah,
is no good, mate.
yeah. You know, injury wise, like I got sciatica, my back. I got my bottom disc is worn down.
Yeah,
I sort of could control it these days. I'm like yourself. I counteract it because I can feel when it's twinging, and
yeah,
I'll do my stretches when I know it's twinging. I struggle with my neck these days a lot. Just muscles getting trapped in my shoulder blade, I think. So
yeah,
every 3 months that my neck goes. I've had a cortisone in my left shoulder, arthritis.
yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
right one's going a little bit. My left knee's starting to go. You know, and I'm just about to turn 35. You know,
yeah,
I put my body on the line a lot. I think it's working in the cold in England. I think that's you know, when it's summer
yeah. Don't
here,
help.
I feel brand new in the summer here. When it gets a bit
Yeah,
colder, like, you know, I can start to notice the aches and pains.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like don't be a hero, and
yeah.
you know, lift things properly. You know, it's not a race. You know, it's just slow and steady wins the race. You know, but
That's it.
I don't know.
That's it. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's what I tell my 17-year-old me. If 17-year-old me probably still wouldn't listen.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. Yeah, shut up.
You
What are you
know,
going on about?
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I feel like myself and yourself as well. I think we're lucky in the respect that we got to sit down in the seat. You know, where as far as I can tell, we're both good operators. And I think I'm lucky to have the respect at my age, I think, of making a bit of a reputation now as well. I'm lucky to be able to sit down in the seat and not have to do. I mean, I still work on the ground every now and then, but I'm trying to use more of this than my body these days, and I think that's the way forward. And I'm lucky in that respect, to be able to have that opportunity and basically just not have to put my body on the line anymore.
That's it, mate. That's what it's all about. You've got to look after yourself, mate. Definitely.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier. Doesn't get any easier at all.
Doesn't.
I'm gonna finish up now, but I'm gonna finish up with some quick fire questions, right? Just a few little questions. Don't think about it. Just bang, give us an answer. All right.
Okay.
All right. Easy one. Last song you listened to?
Last song I listened to was Bob Marley. I can't remember what song it was, but it's Bob Marley.
Nice.
Yeah.
Snake or spider?
Oh, snake.
Roast dinner or barbecue?
Roast dinner.
Good. Crawler crane or piling rig?
Oh, piling rig.
Yeah. Jungle or beach?
Beach.
Nice. Yeah. England or Australia?
England.
Oh, good boy. Who's going to win the Euros?
It's coming home, mate.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so, mate.
Not the performance so far, but
it's been shocking. Yeah. So that's it, bruv.
You'll be optimistic, mate, can you?
Well, this is what it's all about. You've got to be an optimist in life. But I don't know much hope. Yeah, so you can enjoy your day now, whatever it is you're doing on the Sunday. And I'm going to get my head down, get me much needed beauty sleep. Thanks very, very much. It's been really enjoyable, mate. Honestly, been so good.
Yeah, it's been good to talk about it.
Yeah, it's been good to get things off your chest, I suppose, isn't it? I've learned some things about it that I didn't really know. And
good.
As I say, this is good for the people who want to. Well, not who want to, but are curious, right? Wondering what it's like to go over to Australia, and maybe now they can just take the jump and go for it. Yeah?
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it.
So,
definitely.
So well done. Nice one, brother. Take it easy,
mate.
Much love.
You too, mate. You too.
Say hello to the boss for me. Hope she's all right.
Yeah, I will do. Will do, mate. Will do.
Right, I'm gonna do my outro now and put you in the old waiting room again. However you do that. Oh, you're up here. Nice. All right, later.
All right. Take it easy.
Potatoes. Nice one. Later.
Yes. See you, mate. See you.
So there we go. It's my little brother. So proud of him. Honestly, it's unbelievable. Like I say, when he took the jump all those years ago, it was difficult for the family. It really was. It was a big worry. But like I said to him, when you love someone, you've got to let them fly, let them flourish. And I've watched him grow over the years, watching him achieve so many great things. Still worry, but he's matured a lot, and he's in a good place. So I hope that was useful. I hope that was interesting for you. If you want to go out there and do these things, you just got to take the risk in life. Sometimes you just got to. You never know what's going to happen. That's it now. Like I said, subscribe. Put a lot of work into this. I've been doing a bit of analytics recently, actually. Not really good with all this sort of stuff, but about 80% of the people who watch my videos haven't subscribed yet. They just watch them. So hit that subscribe button. Do it right now, and then keep watching them. Yeah. All the best. Laters.